Hi, my name is Niki Kirby and I'm a Managing Director with Beautycounter, and I would like to officially welcome you to the Beautycounter community. Anytime that you do something new and step out of your comfort zone, it's not easy, but trust me, it is absolutely worth it. So congratulations on a fantastic decision. In my time in this business, I've worked with hundreds of women to help build their businesses. And one thing that I've noticed is that those people who launch strong tend to succeed more so than others. So my goal with this video is to help you to feel confident in your decision and competent to move into action. So today we're really going to focus on three main areas: why you chose this business, your why, what you want out of it, your what, and then how you're going to make those things happen. So before we go into your why, your what, and your how, I want to take a moment and talk to you about something that my mentor talked to me about when I first joined. And that is that success or failure is ultimately in your own hands. It is absolutely imperative that in this business, you have what we call a business owner mindset. We are here as mentors and directors to help you along every step of the way, but ultimately, you are in charge of your business. Anytime you start a new business, there are ups and downs that come with it, and Beautycounter is no exception. What I'd like to ask you for is a 1-year commitment to Beautycounter. I know that can seem like a lot, but I'm here to tell you that if you stick to our system, I promise you, the rewards are so worth it. So the first thing that we're gonna go into is what we like to call your why. You'll hear this referenced a lot, and for good reason. Your why is your primary motivating factor for saying yes to this business opportunity. So ask yourself, why did you join this business? I always start with people's whys because your why is kind of like your North Star. Remember those ups and downs we just talked about? Guess what's going to be the one thing that propels you forward in spite of them? It's going to be your why. Trust me, I've been involved in this business for a while now, and every time that I've had doubts or had a struggle or anything of that nature, my why has been what I've always revisited, and it's going to be the thing that propels you forward in spite of the hurdles that you will inevitably experience in this business. So take some time and write down your why. Really think about it. Be sincere in what it is. Talk to friends and family about it. Record yourself. Basically, just get comfortable with it. Your why is a big part of your story, and at the end of the day, your story is how you're going to make meaningful connections with people in this industry. So if your why is your primary motivating factor for joining this business, your what is kind of like your big picture vision for what is to come from this business. So I have a few questions that I like to ask people to sort of help them delve into what it is that they want out of this business and really get their wheels turning. The first question is, what is something that's missing from your life right now that you would like more of? A couple of examples of this would be more time, more money, more sense of purpose, or any combination of the above. Other questions are questions about money. How much money would it take for you to get really excited about this business? And then go deeper in that. What would that money do for you and your family? How would that money make you feel? When it comes to setting goals, what I like to do is I like to take my big picture vision and work my way backwards and set small, bite-sized goals. And I like to make my goals SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. That has always helped me when it comes to taking the macro and turning it into micro. Knowing your why and your what are foundational to this business. They not only will help give you a clear vision and direction, but they will also be the things that propel you forward when you inevitably hit the emotional roller coaster that comes with this or any business for that matter. Let me leave you with a great quote by Steve Jobs. When you're working on something really exciting that you care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you forward. So now that we've covered your why and your what, we're going to talk about the how. Before we go into the three main pillars of what a Beautycounter business entails, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. First of all, I want you to take a realistic look at your schedule each week. This is absolutely a business that you can weave into the pockets of time that you have. It's a flexible business that you determine the terms of. However, it's very important that you're intentional with your time. So look at your schedule and realistically set aside a block of time each week to commit to Beautycounter. The other thing I want you to think about is that this is very much an earn as you learn business. You do not have to be an expert or have everything mastered. As a matter of fact, I think there's a lot of value in starting this business and admittingly not being an expert. As I mentioned, there are three main pillars of a Beautycounter business. There's selling, there's recruiting, and coaching. Selling is foundational to our businesses. To start, it's one of the areas we personally have the most control over. It's also a great way to get a fantastic paycheck because we make a guaranteed 25 to 35% commission on everything we sell. Your goal should always be to maximize our compensation plan by earning the full 35% commission. In order to do that, you need to sell $3,000 a month. By selling $3,000 a month, not only are you consistently earning a great paycheck of around $1,000, but you're also filling your pipeline, as we like to say, with clients and members who will give referrals and possibly even become consultants in your organization. Selling really is the lifeblood of your business, and the absolute most efficient way to sell is through what we call socials. A social can be as formal as 8 to 10 people in a room with a video playing, or as casual as 3 girlfriends at Starbucks. Regardless, the point of a social is to get in front of more people than you normally would selling one-on-one. A typical Beautycounter social, on average, brings in around $500 to $750 in sales, so a good rule of thumb is to schedule around 3 or 4 a month. On a side note, when you're starting your business, Beautycounter recommends 6 launch socials. Now, I remember when I started, that sounded like a whole lot of socials, but what I found was that by the 5th or 6th, I was so much more polished in my presentation and more comfortable in telling my stories. So 6 launch socials is also a great thing to aspire to. In addition to socials, we also sell by doing what we call basket drop-offs or sampling and one-on-ones. A basket drop-off is exactly what it sounds like. You get a basket of your favorite products and you lend them to friends and family for a few nights to try. The average sales from a successful basket drop-off are around $120. And then a one-on-one is where you would meet someone, say, for coffee or at their house and really individually go over their options. This is great because oftentimes it segues into a conversation about the business. The average one-on-one is a little bit higher, and I would say around $125, maybe to $130. These are kind of ballpark averages, but as you can see, there are many ways that you can get to that $3,000 mark. But by far, socials are the most efficient use of your time. When you're starting, I would say do all of the things. Do it with an open mind and see after 3 or 4 months where your strengths lie. Maybe you're fantastic at socials and that's where you want to put your emphasis. Or maybe you have really successful one-on-ones. Regardless, I would say stick to the system and do it the way that they recommend it first, and then you'll really find your stride after a while. If selling is the foundation of our business, then recruiting really is the framework of our business. Recruiting truly is the only way to build a business that produces residual income and significant social impact. In the words of John Rockefeller, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. So keep that in mind as you go through the recruiting process. But aside from all of the reasons why recruiting is the smartest way to build your business, it's also just more fun to do this business with friends. It's called network marketing for a reason. Lots of people tend to be afraid of recruiting for fear of being one of those people, but I'm here to tell you that recruiting is one of the absolute best gifts you can give to someone. You see, we recruit with the mindset that recruiting is something you do for someone, not to someone. Our job as recruiters is simply to ask and present, not to convince. And lastly, Beautycounter has a very important and very real social mission. And as with any other mission, the more voices, the more power. Your job as a recruiter is simple. You simply invite and connect. You invite people to learn more, and then you connect them with a third-party resource. So many people make the mistake of trying to be the expert, or even waiting to recruit until they feel like they've mastered everything. Remember, we're duplicating based on a simple and proven system, not a person. By leveraging third-party resources such as YouTube videos, articles, or calls with your upline mentor, what you're showing your prospect is that anyone can duplicate this business without any necessary experience in the past or inherent skill set. It is truly duplication based on a proven system. So in addition to all of the reasons why leveraging third-party resources is more effective, it's also just more efficient. So remember, your job is simply to identify people you'd like to work alongside and simply ask. Easier said than done, right? I know the ask is where a lot of people get really intimidated. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share a really quick formula. Notice I didn't say script because I think it is so important that we make this personalized and sincere when we're asking. But I'm gonna tell you what I do when I reach out to people. Your upline mentor or director can help you to hone your verbiage a bit more in addition to this, but I'm just gonna start with what I do. I have 5 touch points that I always like to cover with people, whether I'm reaching out to them via Facebook Messenger or text message, email, what have you. Number 1, I greet the person and state my intention. This is something that I cannot stress enough. It is of the utmost importance to me that I'm forthright with people, and so I like to, out of the gate, let them know why I'm reaching out to them. I can't tell you how many people have told me that they've been turned off by this industry because of false pretenses that people reach out to them. So I would say something like, "Hey Sarah, it's Niki Kirby. How are you today? Listen, I thought about you the other day because I have recently joined a new business called Beautycounter, and I think that you would be fantastic at it." The second thing that I always like to do is address the elephant in the room, or in the words of my friend Nicole, don't make it weird. And I love this because this business does not have to be awkward and weird. So I'll say something like, "Okay, so I know it's totally random that I'm reaching out to you right now," or "I know we haven't spoken in ages," or "I know that I'm coming out of complete left field by talking to you about this, but I just had to reach out to you." The third thing I like to do is I like to tell them why I thought of them. This is something that sometimes trips people up, but it really should be as simple as you telling them all of the reasons why you thought of them in the first place. So it could be because they're really health conscious, or because they're a really active person in their community, they have a large network, they do a great job juggling multiple things. Whatever it is that made you think they would be a fantastic Beautycounter consultant, tell them. People love compliments. No one is going to be offended for you telling them all of the reasons why you think that they would do great at this business. So the fourth thing is to tell them again. And I like to say something like, "I think you would be a fantastic Beautycounter consultant, and I would love to work with you." And then lastly, make the ask. I like to use the verbiage, "if I, would you." I think it's very important here that we're being conscientious of asking people's permission to move forward and engage in a conversation versus pushing information on them that they may not have any interest in learning. So I like to say something like, "If I sent you a YouTube video with my upline director or my friend Nikki, would you be interested in learning more about it?" Or, "If I could connect you with my friend, would you have a conversation with her?" So if I, would you? And that's it. Super simple, short, sweet, forthright, to the point, and very genuine, and very effective. So that's just one quick example of what I do when I make the ask. The important thing to remember is that the focus should be on the person that you're reaching out to versus yourself. And I like to do that, again, by using verbiage like "if I, would you," and leveraging third-party articles. So now you have your first recruit. Now what? Now you enter into the coaching phase of this business. We subscribe to the whole see one, do one, teach one philosophy of coaching. And the great news is that in order to do that, most of what you're going to be doing is modeling the activity that you did to start selling and recruiting. But in addition to modeling the activity for your new team member, you'll need to set aside a time, preferably within the first 48 hours of them signing on, to have a coaching call. During that coaching call, you'll go through things like validating their decision, setting proper expectations, and helping them to individualize and personalize their goal, and also asking permission to hold them accountable to their goal. Another great thing to do with anyone that you bring into this business is to ask them if they want to choose the launch path or the slow and steady path. Notice that neither one of these is wrong or right, but it will help you as the mentor to determine who gets your individualized time and who gets more group coaching. So the Beautycounter business comes complete with fantastic training resources from corporate. So our job as mentors really is more to coach our new team member. And we do that by having conversations and holding them accountable, but also just by encouraging and motivating your new team members. Remember, you drive the energy bus, and so if you're excited about the business, they're going to be excited as well. Okay, so there you have it. selling, recruiting, and coaching. Now, I know that I said that there are 3 main pillars to a Beautycounter business, and that's true, but there's one other thing I'd like to touch on really quick, and that's personal development. As a consultant and as a mentor, I think 10% of your time should be devoted towards personal development. Personal development can be anything from listening to a training call, to listening to a podcast, reading a book on business, or just having a coaching call with your upline. Whatever it is, again, by intentionally focusing on personal development, you're not only having a business owner mindset, but you're filling your mind with information and positivity that will help you to better tell and share your story. It's you taking ownership for the success of your business. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak of heart, and in order to succeed, it's imperative that you have a growth mindset and a commitment to never stop learning and always be coachable. So there you have it, a basic overview on the Beautycounter business and philosophy. Know your why, know your what, be intentional with your time, making sure to allot 90% of your time for selling, recruiting, and coaching, not forgetting 10% for personal development and growth. Focus on activities, not outcomes. And lastly, be yourself, be excited, and just be confident. Welcome to Beautycounter.